This is the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, if you're new to Money Shift, don't forget to subscribe for all the car buying confidence. The Ford Ranger Raptor is a twin-turbo V6, making 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Capable of 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, this pickup truck not only has a wide stance, not only is available in a lovely green, but it can back it up with some pretty serious numbers. The wheel tire package, you're looking at 17s wrapped with 33-inch BF Goodrich tires. This truck means business, and it's got all the capability to back it up. The Ranger Raptor isn't all about speed, though. It's a pickup after all, and this rugged bed liner looks great, and it's extremely functional. But there's some interesting power options that Ford decided to put in the back of this 2024 bed that we'll get to a little bit later on. Looking in the interior, you start to see the flash of color that Ford introduced in the Ranger Raptor. The red, the black, maybe it's orange, it's up to you. It depends on maybe if you're colorblind or not. It looks really, really great. These seats are super comfortable and they hug you in all the right spots because remember, this Ford Ranger Raptor is remarkably fast for a pickup truck, and I love this screen and how well it's integrated into the overall look of the dash. But enough talking, let's get behind the wheel.
All right, folks, we are behind the wheel of our first ever press machine. This is the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, I am very, very curious about this truck for a variety of reasons, but the biggest one being we own a Tacoma TRD Off-Road. And while you might be saying, hold on, Thanasi, the Tacoma TRD Off-Road compares against, you know, not the Raptor version, I gotta remind you guys, you can get that Tacoma TRD Off-Road for upwards of $55,000 fully loaded. And once you get to that point, the price comes remarkably close to this Ranger Raptor. And for the money, this Ranger Raptor might just be the better machine. You get 2 turbos, you get the better dampers, you get a better look. Potentially, that decision is yours. This truck looks absolutely tremendous in this eruption green. So where do we begin? How does it start? Well, the one thing that I notice right off the bat in this Ranger Raptor are the materials. While the truck is put together remarkably well, right? The fit and finish is actually really, really solid. I quite like the look and feel of these seats. I can't help but get like Taurus vibes in here. I don't know if it's because of the, you know, rally indicator that shows you which way the wheel is pointing, or if it's the orange highlights or what it is, but let's floor it and maybe that'll change my mind entirely. Let's give it a shot. We're gonna be in first, uphill, shift into second, slam it into third, and she is scooting, guys. This truck definitely hauls the mail. It is a lot faster than my Tacoma. The brakes feel relatively nice, I gotta say. Overall, good brake feel. It's a little bit squishy, but it is quite nice. The throttle response, though, is where you notice the biggest difference between this and the Tacoma. Just putting along here on the road, if you will, which, by the way, we are in the Poconos, and it is absolutely gorgeous. These seats have a lot more support than the seats in my Tacoma, and I like the leather that is used for this steering wheel. It feels quite nice in the hands. The instrument cluster is gorgeous. I don't mind this screen. I like how it is integrated as opposed to the Tacoma. Let's try to chuck it into some corners here. See how she holds up. Remember, this is a pickup, okay, that we're doing this stuff with. Good weighting behind the steering, which is really, really nice. We're able to actually accelerate uphill, which is something that Tacoma folks might not understand. The sight line is really, really nice. Ford does a great job at their pickup trucks at understanding sight line. The hood is long, but you can still see over it quite easily, which I love. Brakes, again, a little bit squishy, but overall fine. Man, this road is just insane. I just popped my ears. We are going up. Let's give it a rip. Oh, these dampers, guys, are insane, okay? This is a mountain road. We are going over small bumps, small undulations all the time, and yet no issues. I barely feel a thing behind the wheel of this truck, and I think that's where the Ranger Raptor starts to come into its own. It's just driving along like this. It is supremely comfortable. You got the bigger wheel and tire. You have the correct dampers underneath. Oh, it's a good place to be. Great place to be, actually. Got an Integra Type S out front there, and we're able to keep up with him no problem, even though we're in a pickup truck, which is actually hilarious. Ioniq 5N, get behind the wheel of that a little bit later on. So far, the initial impressions are just that, right? Initial. This is a first drive review, and I am very much so impressed. Let's step outside of this truck to give you guys a look. Look at these mountains, folks. The one thing I do want to note is the sound of this truck is not that great. I'm not getting good audio from this machine. The soundtrack is not the most ideal, but that's okay because look at that view. Now let's take a step, let's take a walk around and show you guys the outside and inside of this truck. What is this? Oh, okay, so not one, but two buttons all the way up. Bang, that's how you do it. We have a rotary dial for the drive modes. We also have some other modes down here, some parking assist and some auto stop start. All good, but yeah, let's go take a look at this car rather quickly. I always like how Ford integrates the door handle here. I think that is nice. Love that door chime, always have loved it. Taking a look, you see the splendor that is this Ranger Raptor. We have an unbelievable green that Ford offers in this machine. I don't mind the graphic package. I would probably do without it just so you get a more stealth look, but the wheels and tires are absolutely massive, and that helps along with the dampers to give you a supreme ride. This thing just glides over bumps, and it's in large part due to the profile of the tire and the dampers, something that the Tacoma just can't do. And while the Tacoma did change the rear end away from leaf spring, the dampers don't hold a candle to the ones that this Raptor offers. Behind in the rear, you get twin exhausts that come right out the side and just look positively menacing. I mean, look at this thing. It just has a nice stance about it that I quite love. The rear window also has an integrated slide, just like the Toyota Tacoma. Let's lower. Oh, are we locked here? Are we locked? Hold on a second. There we go. Wait, is that not damped? There's no way. Okay, it is. It is. It's probably just seen some use. Okay. In the bed of the Ford Ranger, we have the bed liner, and that is because this is not a composite bed quite like the Toyota Tacoma. Never has, maybe it never will be, but anyway, bed liner is just fine with me. It is applied very, very nice, and you have the Ford logo integrated on the cab, much like we did in the Maverick. For those of you that remember those videos, you have two places for cup holders or things here. On the left side, you have two outlets, one cigarette, one regular, which is just fine. Not as many power options as its competitors, and a cigarette lighter is kind of weird where Toyota gives you the USB-C, which is quite nice. Looking at the back seat though, back seat of the Ford Ranger is a mighty fine place to be, and it has two things that I like that the Toyota Tacoma does not. First one, right here, somewhere to put your hands with two cup holders. That is very nice. Second thing, 2 map pockets, 1 on each side, and you also get power down here with a USB-A and a USB-C, which is nice. But how is the legroom? Let's take a look. I am 6 feet tall, and I am sitting behind myself without moving that seat at all. And I have some legroom, but I do not have any headroom. My head is almost resting on the top of this roof. That is a bit of a bummer. I definitely have more headroom in the Toyota Tacoma, but I have more legroom in this machine. Well, let's get behind the wheel and get some driving thoughts going back. I have it in sport mode. We got the exhaust all the way on. I'm going to be using the paddles. Let's see how this truck operates in its sportiest setting. So flicking down the paddles, the one thing I wish, we're spending nearly $60,000 and I don't get metal paddle shifters. That is a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying, but that's okay. You can overlook it if they work remarkably well. So let's see, we're in 5th gear, 4th, 3rd. It does it pretty nicely. I like that. That works really, really well. Let's give it the beans in 2nd. We got the exhaust wide open. 3, 2, 1, go. Now we're driving a pickup truck here, and that thing picked up and went pretty reasonably quick, which is nice to see and not something that a lot of other pickup trucks that aren't called Raptor or TRX can do. You definitely have more than enough power in this truck than you would need or want. We don't have a heads-up display here for this price point, but I cannot stress enough how responsive this engine is, how comfortable these dampers are, how comfortable this truck is to just drive on a daily basis, especially over bumpy roads like this. And just how fun of a machine this is. Pickup trucks shouldn't be this fun. The steering is good. It's not as weighted as you would find in the Toyota Tacoma, so it feels a little more video gamey, much like an F-150, but if you're comfortable with that, you'd be comfortable with this as well. Good soundtrack when you get those valves open, so maybe I should take back what I said about the sound of the Ford Ranger. We're going over bumps here, okay? This is not the smoothest road in the world, but I'm not really feeling much of it. It's taking it quite well. The brakes, again, a little bit spongy, but you can forgive it. All right. Final notes on the Ford Ranger Raptor. For $58,000 or right around, you get a lot of truck. Now, when they first revealed the price for this truck, a lot of people thought it was very expensive because it was. It was considerably more expensive than the Colorado ZR2, and it only offered a little bit more than that. But now, getting behind the wheel of this truck, especially after having put 3,000 miles behind the wheel of a Tacoma that can get in the same ballpark, the only thing I'm missing from that Tacoma is the manual transmission. Everything else in this truck, barring some of the color choices in this interior, is better. The engine is better than the regular non-TRD Pro Tacoma. The dampers are better than the regular non-TRD Pro Tacoma. The steering is better in the Tacoma. The brakes are better in the Tacoma, but for the money, I would have this over a fully loaded TRD Off-Road Tacoma. And that is where we are going to leave it. Ford hit the nail on the head with this Ranger Raptor. They provided all the Raptor fun in a smaller form factor, and they should be rewarded for it. So if you can get your hands on one, definitely consider it. Hopefully we can get this truck for a little bit longer so we can run it through our full gambit of tests, including fuel economy, living with it, some of the quirks and other things that this truck has going on. But I'm excited to make some relations with the folks and hopefully bring that information to you guys. I am Money Shift. This is car number 1 from IMPA Spring Brake. Car number 2 coming soon, so stay tuned to the channel. Really appreciate everybody for their continued support. We'll see you next time.